And hello, welcome back to BSG Online 5 yet again. Hope you're still all having a wonderful day, staying hydrated and all that good stuff. We're gonna go fast. And this time we're gonna go fast with Xero playing Halo 3 ODST Easy Mode. Take it away.
All right. Hello, my name is Xero. Time will start after this loading screen. This is Halo 3 ODST on the easy difficulty. I'll explain that a little bit. Time is coming up right now. All right. So, in the Halo Runs community, I just want to explain this really quick. We run easy and legendary. Some people do like normal and heroic, but generally the two most tracked categories are easy and legendary. So this is easy. Easy is a little bit more of a focus on tricks and movement, whereas legendary is a lot more combat. So starting off, we have a little bit of it's about 44 seconds here. You're just in the pod. There's a tutorial you're supposed to do, but you just skip it by holding right click naturally. And I'm also going to be holding E to exit the vehicle a bit faster. I think it's like 4 seconds of time save, otherwise it gets you out a bit later. And this level, there's a very important clear that I'm going to have to be doing. Essentially, there are 4 groups of enemies, and I have to kill them as soon as possible, otherwise they're all going to run away, scatter, and lose me tons of time. So right here, this first wave, I'm going to be throwing 2 grenades. Hopefully this should kill all of them, but I'm just going to make sure. Looks like it didn't kill all of them, but only a few guys. That's fine. And now we have the other 2 groups of enemies here, and they look like they're the same group, but I think each group is... Oh boy. Each group is... Okay. Each group is 3 grunts and 1 brute, and the brutes are these tall guys, the grunts are the small guys. That was a pretty decent clear. Could have been better, but the idea is pretty much you want to SMG the grunts, and you want to backsmack the brutes. And backsmacking, in case you don't know in Halo games, pretty much instantly kills just about anything. And you'll notice here, I'm emptying my SMG. The reason I do that is because there's a weapon carryover mechanic in this game, where effectively, so you carry over weapons into the next level, except since this game is played kind of in a, anachronistic fashion, like out of order, so to speak. It's technically not the next level, but chronologically it is, if that makes sense. So, that's kind of irrelevant, but by emptying my weapons, I'm able to basically force no carryover, which will grant me full grenades, full ammo on the next level. On the next streets level, I should say. And I'll explain a bit about the streets and how they work after this next coming up level. But one thing you will notice is pretty early on, a lot of these levels are really fast-paced. I wouldn't say necessarily a lot of tricks, but they're really fast levels, and there is a lot of movement tech, so there is kind of a lot going on. That's the first level. And this is Teari Plaza. Starting out here, at the very start, there's going to be a pretty hard trick I'm going for. So hopefully I'll get it. It's called Hog Launch, so I throw 3 grenades. 1, 2, 3. And unfortunately I hit the height barrier. The idea is it launches you all the way over there. I still saved probably about a second with that one. But if done properly, it saves around... probably a perfect launch, I would say, is like 15 seconds of time save. It's pretty ridiculous to see one done perfectly. But right here, I'm basically just walking to the next trick. This level has a lot of... It's another really short level, but it has a good few movement-based tricks. And right here, I'm hoping to get a plasma grenade. I did get one, which will help me with an upcoming trick. But right here, throwing a grenade at the tire, jumping up here, throwing a grenade right there, and that's a plasma coil. I'll explain that in a sec. This is truck launch. Sorry. Basically, it's a pressure launch, so I know that's a lot to take in, so I'll break it down one by one. The coil launch, there are objects in this game called fusion or plasma coils. Essentially, if you shoot them or you throw a grenade by them, they blow up, and you're able to use the speed from that explosion on certain objects, as I did there with the crate. And then truck launch, what I was doing was throwing a plasma grenade next to a box, which made the box drop down onto me. and that causes something called a pressure launch. Now, a pressure launch, as the name kind of implies, is essentially your player getting squished by something, and luckily in the Halo 3 engine, instead of just dying, you actually get, like, launched in a direction. Sometimes you do just die, but generally you don't, and I actually did get a really good truck launch there. And that's Teare Plaza. Like I said, really fast level. This next one is a bit slower paced. There's a lot of movement here, so hopefully I'll be able to explain a few things throughout the run. But starting off again, and you'll see this on the next few streets for sure. I'm just emptying my SMG right away. Again, this will help me get full grenades on the next streets, which I'll be using for tricks. And there are a few grunts coming up, which I'm going to hopefully get some plasma grenades from, and plasma pistol. Looks like I did get 2 plasma grenades, which is very nice. So I'm trying to think if I want to go for this certain trick, which is really cool, but very dangerous. So we'll see. It actually depends a lot on... Okay, well... So since I lost that much health from that trick, I can't really go for it, but... That was a debris launch. You will see those pretty commonly throughout the run. There's another form called the cone launch, which is probably a bit more common than a debris launch. Effectively, the way it works is you're accelerating an object into you, which just gives you a launch. It's pretty cool. One of the bigger techs in the game. And right now, I'm plasma pistoling these brutes, hoping to get a berserker. Unfortunately, I didn't get one. If I did, it would have allowed me to get some boosts, but it's no big deal if I don't. And like I said, this street's level, a lot of just kind of walking. Not a whole lot going on, so I will be going for a few grenade tricks. I have to be a little bit careful with one of them, because generally you don't want to have this low health. Unfortunately, I didn't get the grenade slide there. Oh, that's something I could explain. Another big movement tech you'll see in this game, you'll notice I'm jumping around all the time. That's called a slide jump. Essentially, if you jump off of a slope, you get a speed boost. I think that's kind of the best way to explain it. And then a grenade slide is, as the name implies, basically coupling a slide jump with a grenade boost. Those are definitely something you'll see quite a bit throughout the run, but especially on these streets levels. And we're coming up on the end of the level here, so just a little bit more movement. Not a whole lot going on. The next level, Uplift Reserve, will be very cool driving level, which I'll be going for yet another trick at the very start. And the start is kind of RNG in terms of how enemies behave, but hopefully they'll behave well and let us get through pretty fast. And right here, so as I said before, I'll explain how the streets work. Essentially, there's these artifacts you're going around collecting on the different streets levels, and it gives you a flashback mission, such as this one. And if you don't know the plot of ODST, essentially you're separated from your squad, and you're trying to find the rest of your squad. So by collecting all the flashbacks, so to speak, you're able to basically, it triggers the end sequence once you've done all of them. So that's why we're going around in the streets collecting all these artifacts, as they're called. And that was the trick I was trying to go for. I did get a pretty good grenade slide there. Ideally, you get one that launches you pretty much all the way to the hog, but it's a really hard trick to hit properly. It's definitely an IL strat. And it looks like our enemies might be behaving really well. This one might be... Okay, I kind of hit the wall there, that was my bad, but a lot of the time that's called corner cut because you're cutting the corner. A lot of the time the Wraith will just like to drive into the wall and block you there for like 10 seconds. Really annoying. Coming up right here, this is a trick called Cliff Climb. Yikes. Luckily you get a checkpoint right there. Second try, let's go. It is a bit difficult, I will say. It's not the hardest thing in the game by any means, but you have to kind of basically lift the front of your ghost while pressing 2 movement keys at once in order to make it up there. And that's probably saves 30 seconds. There is an alternative way of doing it that loses like 15, but That's the fastest way. Pretty easy trick, in my opinion, but it's not. It's definitely something that a lot of people newer to the game have issue with. And now we're pretty much just driving to the end of the level. There will be a few more quote-unquote cliff climbs, but for the most part, I'm just kind of holding the boost button. And yeah, right here, I'm just trying to head up this optimally. Those were the cliff climbs I was talking about. I guess there is one more coming up. Well, I guess there's two more, because we have this, and then coming up right here. This movement is a little bit tricky to nail. Luckily, well, I kind of didn't do it that great, but yeah. And then this is the end. Okay, alright. Good end, I'd say. That end is definitely probably one of the more tricky parts, because you can hit the wall and just go nowhere, and then you get shot by a wraith and you get flipped. Anyway, moving on. This is Mombasa Streets 2, and right here at the very start, I'm going to be going for a double nade debris launch, which will hopefully give me a very big launch. That's not a very big launch, but definitely still time save. Ideally, it launches you right to the door. And once again, I'm just emptying my SMG pretty much right away. And depending on how we end up looking time-wise, if I get a checkpoint, there might be a certain trick I go for. But to go for that trick, I actually have to be kind of slow, so. This street's definitely not a lot going on, though, so I don't know if there's any donations or anything. That would be a good time.
Currently no donations, but I can of course mention all kinds of other things. So yeah, how about UKSG? That's a thing that exists. If you like to participate to an event similar to BSG, check out UKSG. It's an event held in Glasgow running 4 times a year, supporting Crisis, currently also doing their events online for the time being. UKSG is pretty cool. Please do check it out.
Right, and you'll notice back there I was kind of, like, I was just shooting plasma coils. That's just going back to what I was talking about with the coil launch earlier. You basically, those plasma coils or fusion coils, you're able to just kind of shoot them and they give you a nice boost. I would have done it with a grenade, or I might have done one of them with a grenade if I had an extra grenade, and if my health wasn't very low. Unfortunately, I won't be going for the trick here because we're just too fast. But also my health is a bit low. I will be going for another really cool trick. Shout out to Zombie and the Halo Runs community for coming up with it. This is Jonder Slide. It's a double nade debris launch, or sorry, it's a double nade slide, and it's just kind of one of those big tricks throughout the game. If you can tell, that's kind of a meme, because this game, quite a while ago, was called Walking Simulator, and that was probably one of the bigger tricks in the game, but luckily, as you'll see later on, there are actually quite a few very big skips that we'll be getting to. But right here, going back to kind of how the streets work, there are these supply caches on Mombasa streets which you're able to find, and this one over here happens to have a mongoose, and since it's in our route, we're able to pretty much get this mongoose, and this will also carry over to the next streets. And in order to get these, you need to have 8 audio logs unlocked out of 30. So I guess, yeah, that actually does mean that we run NG+, basically, but considering we pretty much only track 2 categories, we just call them easy and ledge. We don't really call them NG+ or any %, anything like that. And luckily, you still carry over the mongoose even if you empty your SMG, which, if that was not the case, that would be very, that would make things very interesting, to be honest. But this is Oni Alpha Site. This level has quite a bit of combat going on. Starting off here, unfortunately I didn't get it, but that was just kind of that was a really small double nade debris launch kind of thing, where I basically jumped on the tire and I was trying to get boosted by the 2 grenades, but unfortunately my second grenade didn't go off properly. And right here, we're just kind of waiting for this dialogue. We're going to hit this button and then head into the courtyard clear. Alright, so just to make up for those nades I lost, I am going to be going to these two sides because these nades will be very useful in the upcoming clear. Now, the way this level works, as I said, it's one of the more combat-intensive levels. That's because I would say the main source of optimization is from the combat, whereas a lot of it is from movement. Hang on just a second, I have to do dialogue queue. Alright, essentially what I'm doing here, is I'm by timing the dialogue, I'm able to line up that collat there, which, considering how hard hunters are to kill, even on easy sometimes, just definitely saves a lot of time. Moving up the hill, hit this trigger, and assuming everything is dead, which it is, that's a pretty good clear. So anyway, as I was saying, this level is very much based on the combat. Right there, for example, you need to have pretty much everything dead before you hit this trigger, otherwise you're losing time. And then this clear is technically on a timer. However, you still need to kill a certain amount of enemies. I don't know the number. I think it's 17 that need to die. I don't really think anyone knows the exact number, but we're pretty much just kind of spawn killing the guys as they come out. And wraiths count as 3, so luckily we're able to just get an easy kill there. And again, just gonna be backsmacking a few brutes. Unfortunately, that wasn't a backsmack somehow, but that killed him, so. And now, I think, just to be safe, I like to kill a few more grunts. So, as I'm heading up the hill, hopefully I'll be able to get a few headshots. There's one, I think. They're kind of hiding behind the brute right now. I should be good. Yeah, he's right in the bubble shield. Alright, we're good. And once you get that dialogue, you're pretty much done with this outside clear. I'm just coming over here really quick to get some frag grenades. Okay, I didn't get that one. That's okay. And this is pretty much entirely on a timer. Don't have to kill anything here. I'm just waiting for a door down here to open. And I'm going to be bringing this turret inside to help me with the clear. Because this indoor clear is definitely not necessarily RNG, but a lot of combat involved, and you want to really have an optimized clear here. So right here, going for a grenade slide. Hopefully I get a good one. Did. And I'm throwing a grenade over here, which will hopefully trigger a dialogue like that. Otherwise, Mickey would have ran all the way outside and back in. Would have lost like 20 seconds. It's not very difficult. You just kind of throw a grenade in that general area. It just kind of works. I used to think it had something to do with his pathing, but I think we decided that that's actually not the case. So we actually don't exactly know why that happens, but it just does, so it just works, right? Alright, and I got right first here, which is the optimal wave. And pretty much here, I'm just waiting for any enemies to come out. Hopefully they don't really hide. And then once I see a grunt here, spawn right there, pretty much throw a grenade. Then we're able to come over to the other side here. Now, as I said, this wave, definitely a bit of RNG involved in terms of how your enemies are coming out, because sometimes they like to just kind of hide like behind and they literally won't come out forever. Sometimes they come out really fast. Ideally, they come out as fast as possible. Looks like one of the jackals might have actually died. There are kill barriers behind these walls, so a lot of the time enemies will run into them and just kind of take care of themselves for you. Alright, and now we're just doing this side. There's still a grunt, but that's the clear. That's actually a really good clear for full game, so I'm really happy with that. I got really lucky with a lot of the enemies in that last wave, actually, I think going into the death barrier, because that last wave over there, typically you have 4 brutes and I think 2 jackals, but I think I only had 2 brutes, so that's actually just really lucky. And right here, I'm just trying to get a
donation.
We do, yeah.
All right, cool. Because we have a 10 euro donation by Rylan with a short comment saying 215 uplift pog. I'm sure you know what that means.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. So this clear right here is it is on a timer, but the timer is so lenient that you pretty much have as there's a guy. Maybe I'm actually losing time, as I was about to talk about how you can't lose time. I think we're good. Yeah, so the timer is so lenient that even with that guy there, who I killed like 10 seconds later than I should have, I still didn't lose time. So I think it's like, I think it's a minute 10 about. That sounds about right to me. They have to kill all those enemies. And then this elevator is coming up. Classic auto scroller right here. Just gonna be sitting on an elevator, so. And then we're headed to the roof where there is one final clear. It's not as important that you kill things super fast because there is another timer, but we will hopefully not be doing any funny shenanigans, such as jumping off the roof, which has happened before. And right here, there's just a bunch of drones that are about to come up, which I'll just kill for content. Hopefully I'll get a nair, actually. Maybe not. Oh, we got the nair. Let's go. Alright. If you don't know Halo, nair or killing nair was right down there. I think it's killing, like, 12 enemies. I don't know. I don't play multiplayer, so not really sure. But anyway, right here, coming up to the roof, and we just want to kill kind of... generally, what I like to do is leave like no more than 2 enemies alive. So I'm going to be going for a stick on this guy. Got it. Throwing a frag right there. I should have had my brute shot out, but... Uh-oh. Okay, that was a little scary. I need this guy to come closer. Alright, and I'm actually low on health here, so I have to be a little careful. Alright, and right here, gonna be going for a root shot assisted grenade jump up to the Pelican. Luckily we got it. I have failed that before. It is very embarrassing, but not failing that here. And that's Oni Alpha Site. Now we're on to another streets. And now we have the Mongoose as well, so they're gonna be going pretty fast now. There is one really cool trick I'll be going for on the streets, but this is the last one, at least probably, that I'll be emptying my SMG. So we're just kind of backtracking for a little bit here. And I just want to make sure I'm not... you can get shot by like a jackal sniper here, which... just since the I guess the mongoose, not mongooses in this game, are so light, like if you get shot by a jackal sniper, I almost did right there, you just get, like, you just fly out of control. That movement right there, that was called the Tony Hawk, because you, like, drive the mongoose up onto a railing. Anyway, right here, this is the trick I'm going to be going for. It's called Mongoose Launch. Hopefully I'll get it. It's pretty difficult, and I did get it, so that's very nice, actually. And yeah, that's actually really nice. Okay, this is Kizingo Boulevard, as Hark likes to call it, the Boulevard of Broken Runs. Pretty difficult level here, but hopefully it'll go well for us. I start out here trying to get a plasma pistol, and I'm gonna have to be getting a beam rifle a little bit later. But right here, I'm just going to rocket the ghost as it falls down. That kills the brute that's driving it. Just allows me to get in about a second earlier. And then we're just kind of driving through this section. This is where I'm just going to pick up a beam rifle real quick. And then hopefully I'm going to get a checkpoint for this upcoming trick, because it is very difficult. Unfortunately, I might not, because I'm getting followed. Oh, I did, thank the Lord. Okay, so I'll actually explain that in just a second. Right here, I'm trying to EMP this Banshee, and I want it to land upright. That was my fault. I just wanted to go for a swag strat. It's okay, though. I should have EMP'd that one more time. So right here, again, I'm trying to get it to land upright, and since it doesn't, I just kind of have to stun it again, except I didn't charge there, unfortunately. So right here, once again, I want it to land upright, like that. That's not ideal, but we can just chase it, I guess. This is fine. This is fine. Alright, so we got the Banshee. The way that works, if you know the anti-air wraith board trick in Halo 3, essentially you shoot the foot of the brute in a specific spot while you're holding E, and you get inside the Banshee where typically it's supposed to just explode. And this is the end fight. Yeah, I did try going for a very swag strat there at the very start where I got it upright first try, which probably shouldn't have gone for, but I've been doing too many ILs, so I apologize for that. We still got the Banshee though, which is more than a lot of people can say about their runs, so this is fine. And this end clear here is essentially an auto-scroller. That's a power drain, that's bad. This could be very dangerous. Okay, I could have actually died there. Yeah, so you can have like 10 enemies alive for this clear. So we should be fine. It looks like that's everything. And I'm just pretty much waiting for this next Phantom to come in here. And this one is the same deal. You don't really have to kill everything super fast, just as long as you kill them before the Phantom deloads, which takes a good deal of time. You don't lose any here. And that's pretty much everything, so you can pretty much just fly to the end here. And that Phantom will fly over there, we'll see a deload, and then level ends 10 seconds from now. And that's Kazinga Boulevard. Even with failing that Banshee board, still a pretty good one, to be honest. Considering I failed it like 3 times. Back onto the streets. This one should probably, I mean, you'll notice these just get really fast. This one is probably about 40 seconds on average. So I am actually going to continue emptying my SMG, because when you get Goose Launch, you're kind of like a bit faster than normal, so you can't empty your SMG fully. But it's fine, because we have 2 more streets to empty our SMG, because we don't really need any more grenades from here on out. However, we will carry them into the second to last level, so I want to make sure I have full grenades there. But right here, just some optimal movement. I'm hoping to get a ghost, which I did not. That's 20 runs in a row. It's a 50-50 chance, but 20 runs in a row, I have not gotten a ghost there. So take that RNG as you will. Like I said, 42nd level. Now we're on to NMPD HQ. Very cool level. Very cat jam, as you'll see. The music in this level is, in my opinion, probably the best in the series. It probably just hands down as the best track in the series, which you'll see in the end fight. But starting off here, for the first minute and a half, about 2 minutes, is just movement. I'm going to be going for a cone launch here. That's a pretty good cone launch. If you remember, I explained what a debris launch is. That was a cone launch. You're basically doing the same thing, but you launch a cone into you and you go places. So just trying to get an A jump from up there, and hopefully I don't get knocked back, which is good. And as I said, first bit of this level is just movement, and then the end fight is pretty much RNG, but I'll explain that when we get there, because there is quite a bit to talk about.
Do we have time enough for a donation, though?
We do, yes.
Excellent. We have about let's see, 12.64 euros donated by Heart the Shark, saying good luck on the run, Xero. Sub 5 NMPD? Question mark?
I'll definitely try. So far, this movement hasn't been the best, but could still do it. So coming up here will be the end fight. I actually want to kill this guy to make sure I get a checkpoint in case I fail this cone launch, because this cone launch happens to be onto a beam, and a lot of the time, well, not necessarily a lot of the time, but sometimes you'll just fly off to the side. Luckily, I didn't do it here. This cone launch is really cool, and it actually serves two purposes. Not only does it get you here faster, you're also skipping the spawns of a few banshees, and this end fight entirely revolves around banshees being alive, so it just helps out in that respect. And I just want to make sure I'm killing things as I'm coming down. I don't want really anything to be alive when I get to the bottom here. Unfortunately, it looks like my oh, that doesn't look good. It looks like my AI haven't really done a whole lot of work. And we did get left first, which in this current situation is okay. Because this is shot off, which is not good for left wave. But right now, essentially, I need to have no more than 2 banshees alive for all of these waves, and the wave order is complete RNG, so I think that should be enough banshees dead, hopefully. Alright, and then this next wave is called auto scroller wave. Looks like, okay, yeah, we had enough, so we're good. The reason this one is auto scroller wave is because it's not RNG pretty much at all. These phantoms move consistently, like in the same paths, and you're just able to predict what happens here. And that's an interesting, I didn't mean to click, whoops. My mouse has been acting up a bit. I just want to make sure I'm killing, I missed, oh no, okay. I just want to make sure I'm killing the grunts, which unfortunately I did not. Looks like we got our next wave though. So again, right here, no more than 2 banshees alive is ideal. Hopefully we'll get instant more phantoms, as it's called. If not, we're losing about 20 seconds, but can't really complain with this level since it is basically just entirely RNG in terms of the wave order you get, and some wave orders are better than others. It looks like this is going to be left, center, right, which is probably like the worst you get on solo, but we'll go with it anyway. Ideally, I'd say you get right, center, left. I think, yeah, that's definitely what you want to get. Unfortunately, my AI actually killed that phantom a bit early, so I didn't get instant more phantoms. Unfortunately for Hark, this will not be a sub 5 NMPD, but it looks like it'd still be decent, so. And this is the last wave here on the right, as I said. Right here, again, I just want to kill as many banshees as possible, and then I may or may not kill the phantom, depending on how many banshees I still see. Or the AI will also just kill it for me sometimes, which can be good or bad. I need a missile pod. Okay. And the reason I'm getting this is it'll help me set up for the next wave coming up here. Hopefully I'm not late to it. I don't think I will be. Right here, there's just gonna be a phantom that spawns down there. There it is. So I don't want to kill this too early, otherwise I'll soft lock. So right about now. Alright, so I didn't soft lock. If I killed it before the dialogue played, it would have soft locked, but anyway, that's NMPD HQ. Sorry for being like everywhere with the commentary, but it is there is quite a lot to talk about. It doesn't look like a whole lot on the surface, but that level is very it's very technical for sure. But this is MS5. Again, we're just kind of driving with the mongoose. Ideally, we would have gotten a ghost on the last street, so it would have saved about 10 seconds here. But should still be about a like 45-second level or so. Pretty quick. The movement here can actually be pretty annoying on a mongoose, but luckily I've been playing this game for long enough that hopefully I won't hit anything. And the routes you actually take for the mongoose and ghost are different in terms of going. Okay, so I did hit something. Like I said, I hoped I wouldn't, but like for example, you can't really make it through some of these I guess holes on a ghost. Anyway, sorry. This is Kikowani Station. This is another pretty technical level. This is probably, I think, yeah, this is the first major out of bounds in the game, which you'll be seeing. And it's pretty much right at the start here. So, well, there's two actually in this level, but throwback to Kazingo, I want to shoot the brute feet. Luckily I did. I'll kill one. Yeah, okay. So right now, I'm going over here, hoping to get a checkpoint in case I fail this, because it is a pretty difficult trick. Luckily, we got the checkpoint. And this is another dialogue cue, so I gotta focus really quick here. Alright, that looks good to me. Alright, so effectively the way that works is you're getting out of the Banshee in between two soft barriers. And one of the soft barriers is for your vehicle, and one of them is for your player. So in doing so, you're basically able to just kind of skip the invisible wall that's normally at the top. And that's just a pretty cool out-of-bounds trick. And we will be doing another variation of kind of the same thing coming up here. I'm just still laying a checkpoint here, and a little note about that. Essentially, by shooting or basically having a weapon, like doing something, whether you're meleeing or shooting or you have a grenade out, it delays your checkpoint, which allowed me to get the checkpoint right here, whereas before delaying I would have probably gotten it about 5 seconds earlier. It's just a convenience thing. This one is quite a bit harder, in my opinion, generally anyway. It looks like we got it second try. And now we're doing something called slinky flipping, which is actually new tech. Essentially, you're boosting and then you're flipping. You're doing the Banshee trick, which when you do that, if you're assuming you boost to start with, it just gives you a nice speed boost. And we're just hitting a few triggers here, and that is pretty much the level. We're just going to come in here, and then we're going to shoot a few things. And okay, and the level will be over after that. Did not expect to get pressure launch backwards, but so we shoot that 3 times, that blows up, and that's the level.
We have another donation if we get a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. We have a €10 donation by Chloe95 saying, "Keep up the good work." Sure are keeping up the good work. Also, everybody in chat, you got Prime Gaming? That's it. Drop it.
Alright, so that's the fastest level in the series, technically. I wouldn't really call it a level, but some people would. 19 seconds, you could do it in 15 with a ghost, or 18 with a mongoose, but I kind of bonked on something. And this is Data Hive. Now, we're on the last 2 levels of the game, and you might think that means we're almost over, but we're actually only about halfway through the game. So, as I said, first few levels are very fast. These last 2 levels are pretty long, but there is some cool tech, definitely on both of them, especially the next one. There's also an absolute... There's a trick on there, which we'll see how it goes, but... Anyway, this is Data Hive. This is a lot of movement. It's kind of like the Streets levels in a way, but there's some pretty cool tricks. You're basically in hallways, but you'll see I'm going for a cone launch here. Hopefully I get a good one. Well, I got one, but not a very good one. And there's just a lot of little movement optimizations to do here. This definitely isn't one of my best levels, but hopefully we'll get a low somewhere around like 10 would be nice. Because this is around a 10-minute level, so a lot of it does look kind of copy and pasted, and there's some sort of allegory to Dante's Inferno or something, but I don't know anything about that, so if you're interested in that, you can look it up. It sounds interesting, but I don't have enough brain cells to comprehend that, so unfortunately I didn't get a plasma grenade there. But that'll be fine. It just prevents me from going for cone launch on this next level. So this is sub level 7. We're next going to be going down to sub level 8, and then sub level 9. And then there's going to be a really cool trick. Then there's a combat clear. So first half of the level, pretty much all movement. Second half, combat and movement, and a really cool trick. And coming up here, there's going to be some guys who I'm just going to try and get some grenades from, because there is a clear at around the halfway point of the level, which you want pretty much as many grenades as possible. And these flame grenades that these camo guys drop are pretty much invaluable in that clear. Luckily I got 3, which is the max. They kind of just lined up right for me, so it wasn't really difficult. And now we're pretty much just running through sub-level 8 here to get to sub-level 9. And the reason we're going to sub-level 9 is because Dare, who is, I guess, technically the leader of the ODST squad, but kind of not. Like, in terms of rank, she's the leader, but she's not the actual leader of the squad, if that makes sense. We're headed down to find her, and then after this level, we'll be... Oh my... Okay, I'm actually gonna grab health. That was interesting. Yeah, and then on the next level, we'll be regrouping with the rest of the squad. Alright, so I lost quite a bit of time there, unfortunately. Just to brutes doing brute things. Unfortunately, luckily for the most part in this run, except on Prepare to Drop and right there, the brutes have been really friendly, but a lot of the time they'll like to just kind of knock you back and lose you time, which can still happen, by the way, but so far it's been pretty good. But this is sub-level 9, so we're just kind of going to run past all these enemies, and then we're going to go for a pretty cool trick. Well, we're going for a cone launch that'll hopefully be really cool. And then there's going to be a very, hopefully, optimal clear. This cone launch, you use this fallen down cone, actually. And as you see, it just pretty much launches me all the way to this door. And this is the clear coming up right here, so... I'm going to throw 2 grenades, which will hopefully kill a lot of the enemies. But I want to be careful here too, because I almost ran into my flame nade not paying attention. And these guys like to hide. Luckily he ran into the flame. Oh, there's another... Okay, I think we're good. Okay. So, yeah, that's the drone clear. Just, the reason it's kind of difficult is because if you don't kill the enemies fast, they all scatter. And the drones like to go hide places and you just don't see them. And they just lose you tons of time. But luckily that was alright, especially for the time that we lost earlier on. But now there's a little bit more movement in these kind of copy-pasted areas, and then we're going to be actually doing a pretty big skip on this level. And after that, there's quite a bit of combat, and hopefully... Well, we'll see. There is one trick I want to go for on this level, which I'll hopefully be able to do. But we'll see how it goes. I would go for cone launch here, but the cone isn't in a good position, so... just gonna skip that. And it doesn't hurt to carry as many nades as possible, because we will be needing as many grenades, at least as many plasma and frag grenades as possible going into the next level for the big skip there. But once we drop down here, we're there will be a trip called D route in probably about 20 seconds. I don't know if you have a donation, but now would be a good time.
Currently no donation, but of course I could always pull up something else to tell people. For instance, that we are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organize bi-monthly gatherings in the Benelux for speedrunners. Due to the situation surrounding COVID-19, we're currently doing our events online for the time being. This event features streamers from both the Benelux and the rest of the world, bringing new entertainment during this whole panini.
Alright, so this is D-Route. This is the big skip I was talking about. First try. It looks pretty difficult. Believe me, it is not. Pretty much anyone can do that. And that saves about 30 seconds. I think it might actually be more. I'm not entirely sure. On top of that, it's really useful for Legendary because it skips drone spawns. Not as big a deal on Easy. But basically skipped an elevator and then a lot of walking. And now we're just kind of cutting across these platforms. And once we're through here, through this movement, I mean, there will be another combat section, which hopefully I'll be able to clear pretty quickly. As I said, though, I do want to make sure I'm hanging on to a few plasma grenades because I will be needing those on the next level, and it's best to carry them over rather than it's best to carry them over rather than get them on the next level. And did I get it? Yeah, so right there, that's something called early dare. Or is it faster? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, unfortunately my movement got a little screwed up there. But effectively, by pushing dare into the air when the script is checking something, like checking her position, you're able to skip like dialogue and skip her walking over here, and it just saves like actually quite a bit of time. It saves more time than you'd think as well, because I used to think it only saved like 5 seconds, but I think it saves like 20 in some instances. So anyway, this is the clear here. Hopefully we'll be able to get a good clear. I would use plasma grenades in an IL, but like I said, I want to really hang on to them for the trick on the next level. I don't know why he didn't die, but I think... Oh, okay, I hope that's everything. Alright. And that's pretty much the combat section. It's pretty quick, but you do save quite a bit of time there doing the right things. And I would say that was actually a pretty solid clear overall. And this is a dialogue section. So I just kind of walk here, and I'm going to be setting up for a pretty cool launch, which I'll hopefully be able to do. But I'm not the best with this, so I want to get this. Okay, there we go. So right now I'm just kind of waiting for Virgil to go into position. Virgil is the alien thing, by the way. And then they're going to do like a 40-second dialogue. Unfortunately, I'm just not able to set this up right. Okay, maybe. No. Oh, come down. Okay. So like... Okay, so like I said, we have about 40 seconds here. I think, hopefully I can still set it up. He's kind of in the way, but I really want to do this. It's a really cool trick, but I might not be able to. Okay, I don't... maybe. Hang on. Okay, we could try it. Okay, yeah, so that's a hammer launch. Ideally, you get all the way up here, but you use the gravity hammer to just... It's kind of... I'm not actually entirely sure how it works, to be honest. As I understand it, it's kind of the same deal as like a debris launch, except the force from the gravity hammer essentially acts as your explosion, if that makes sense. Someone else would be able to explain it better than me. That's how I would put it. But yeah, I mean, that's a big trick in Halo 3. Unfortunately, you don't really see it much in ODST. It is a very cool, cool trick, though. And this is Coastal Highway. This is the last level. Also, the longest in the game. Okay. Also, the longest in... Why am I going that way? I'm trying to launch... Okay. Anyway. Also the longest in the game. Also has the hardest trick in the game, which hopefully we will be hitting first try. No flashbacks to ESA here, but it's funny because this level before the trick was the IL world record was 17 minutes and 10 seconds, and this trick saves nearly 4 minutes. The IL record is 13:37. Like actually, it's actually lead, but it could probably go a little bit faster, I'm sure, if someone wanted to grind it out. I know I don't, because it is a pretty annoying level sometimes. But what's funny is even with that 4-minute time save, it's still the longest level in the entire Halo series. So, yeah, but we'll see how this goes. That means, in theory, I do have 4 minutes to hit this trick before I'm losing any time. So, that's good. But right now, we're just waiting for Virgil to open the door, and then the trick will start. Okay. I get Buck off of the Warthog because he can get in the way of my grenades, which you'll see, which caused a lot of issues. Hopefully we'll actually won't see that. Hopefully I'll just get this first try, because this is a really stressful trick, and it is quite difficult. Essentially, I'm going to be launching this Warthog out of bounds with grenades and a rocket. So hopefully I'll just get this first try, because this first one is pretty stressful, and then I have to do it again, but the second one isn't as bad. That might be okay if it goes all the way up. Okay, we're good, we're good. That is actually not optimal at all, but it's better that it gets out than me having to revert, because if it didn't make it, I would have had to revert, and reverting sets you all the way back to the start of this highway section. So now I'm just cleaning up grunts because I'm going to want to get a checkpoint, and these grunts would delay the checkpoint. Let's see. Okay, just that one last guy, and hopefully that's all. Looks like, yeah, we're good. Okay, so now we have to do another launch, kind of similar, but this one is actually, well, it's similar in premise, but it's actually like entirely different in terms of the actual trick. And luckily you do get a checkpoint for this one, but this one is, I would say, a bit more precise. I just delayed there, but we got the checkpoint, so... that looks good. Okay, and we're out first try. Very nice. So... okay, that's pretty much the hard part of the trick over. So now we do have to walk all the way over here. Ideally, it's like high up on the ramp, but this is fine anyway. That's the hard part of the trick over. Now we're pretty much just gonna be, well, so this goes back to the whole holding W simulator thing I talked about earlier. This level, before this trick was found, you used to literally just hold W, like, or forward, and you were pushing Dare. You were pushing Dare's dump truck with your Warthog, and you would pretty much like you would just do that for 10 minutes. And the nice thing about this trick is now you're actually kind of doing something that takes a little bit of skill other than just holding W, because you have to hit these triggers. Now, I would say it's like 2/3 of these triggers are you can just kind of drive through the middle, but a lot of them have special cases. This one in particular, because right here, as you'll see, you're going to have to hit this load trigger, and then I can't actually just go through the middle again, but pretty simple. And then we got this next one coming up here. This next one will not be driving through the middle. If I were to drive through the middle, I would basically teleport back in bounds and have to revert. The good thing is you do get checkpoints at most of these doors, but this one and a few others, you'll see I actually have to hit it a bit differently. So I'm going to come down here. I have to basically jump right here, and that's the trigger hit. Now I can just kind of back up. And yeah, so the next two triggers, I'm just going to drive through the middle again. A lot of it is rinse and repeat until we get to the last few triggers, which are, well, not the last few, but a few triggers from now. They will be quite different, and a little bit scary, actually, because you can fail these, as I said. The ones that go through the middle aren't necessarily precise, but the ones that don't go through the middle are actually fairly precise. So if you screw those up, you could lose like 30 seconds because generally you have to drive all the way from the last door to the next. And also, I haven't even seen a checkpoint for a while. Oh, there's one. Good. Okay, so this is the last... Well, technically, this isn't the last mid-trigger, but this is the last one for a little bit. The next 4 triggers are actually a little bit scary, because you have to hit them a bit differently. This next one I'm actually going to try to drive through, and assuming I hit that, it saves about 5 seconds. It's high risk, low reward though, because if I don't hit it, I'm going to revert, and that's probably about 30 seconds of time loss. But I'm pretty confident, so probably shouldn't have said that, because, you know, but here it comes. Pretty much drive through like so, and we did hit it. We didn't teleport, which is good. So we saved the 5 seconds, guys. We're good. All right, and then this next one, again, quite a bit different from the rest. It is a little bit scary too, because I don't think I get any checkpoints on the way. Sometimes you do. I might, like, right up here, but okay, I did. This is a bit scary because there are banshees that like to shoot your warthog, and they could actually push you into the trigger there. I need to hit a load. Okay. All right, and just like that, this one is not middle once again. Okay, I almost got screwed up there, but we're just gonna walk about here, and okay, I'm sliding. Trying to jump back here. Okay, good. And I would say those are probably the most scary ones done. The next few are a little bit tricky, but not really. So, for the most part, those last 2 are the only ones that really give me any major issues.
Alright, we have another donation if we got some time.
Let me just hit this, and then sure. So, this next one, it is technically a mid-trigger, except we're on top of this dome. So we're going to try to drift down into the trigger, but if we hit it too high, we will teleport. So it is a little bit tricky. Kind of have to drift, otherwise you just slide down. Looks like we got it, so that's good. You can go ahead with your donation.
Alright, cool, because we have another 10 euros donated by Rylum saying donating another 10 for First Try Coastal.
Yeah, First Try Coastal is definitely like... It's really difficult. I mean, for a lot of people, I think the number of people who even know the trick is like 7 out of all the people who've ever run ODST. It's fairly recent. I think came up with it. That was just another one I had to drive through, so I kind of had to focus. But we came up with it back in December. I theorized about it since like November or even October of the last year, but everyone was like, "Ah, no, there's no way you could do it." And then found some launches, and saves 4 minutes, but it's honestly, it's not a fun trick to do. It really isn't. It's really cool to see done, but I mean, countless runs you lose to save 4 minutes at the end of the run. It does suck sometimes, but getting it first try like that definitely feels really good. We're coming up here on the last trigger, and then we'll be pretty much going into the end fight. So this one, it doesn't teleport you no matter where you hit it, so you just hit it on the outside. And we're trying to head back in bounds. Hopefully I don't flip. Luckily I didn't. And we're going to drive down here, and we're going to try and get our Warthog over this barrier with a grenade and some rockets. Looks good. Oh, I didn't even need that second one. Cool. Alright, and this actually saves, I think, around 20 seconds. Not just driving, but you'll also see me pushing dare. I just want to kill these grunts. I'm out of ammo. Okay. So yeah, in about 15 seconds from now, Buck will teleport, and that'll effectively trigger the end sequence of the game. And I just want to get back in the Warthog here because, as I said, I want to push dare the Warthog here. And this is, believe it or not, potential PB pace. So, very cool. But right here, you want to be a little bit careful. I forgot to push that truck out of the way, so I want to be a bit more careful there. But by pushing Dare into the trigger just faster than she walks, it just triggers the end sequence a bit faster. So, oh my. Okay, this is fine. So yeah, about 4 minutes until time, by the way. So this end fight, it's kind of, so you do actually want to make sure you're killing things like fast, because if not, you do lose time, like for sure. But some of these waves are pretty lenient, and one of them you have to be careful with because it's actually the next wave coming up. If I kill anything too early, it'll soft lock me. So hopefully this guy dies, and then I want this guy to die too. That's the wave. Very cool. Alright, so this next wave, it's all jackals. Like I said, I want to make sure I'm not killing anything too early, otherwise it will soft lock. I actually don't, I think it's specific enemies that you kill too early, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to be playing it safe. Shouldn't lose any time to playing it safe because it's very lenient, as you'll see. The timer, I mean. But there's a ton of jackals. Hopefully I'll be able to get most of them pretty quickly. So I'm going to throw a grenade, rocket. And that's pretty much... Okay, so there are a few more, but that's no big deal. And all I had to do there to not soft lock pretty much was make sure I'm shooting... I just wanted to make sure that I'm shooting the enemies after they all hit the ground. That's it. And right here, there's two hunters. I'm just going to shoot a rocket between them, kills them both, and that's the wave. And we're going to be coming up here on the last wave, which... hopefully, I don't really lose any time to, because it's probably the easiest one to lose time to. But, yeah, about 2 minutes left on time. There's no reason to do this, honestly. I just like to get the beam rifle up here. Yeah. So right now we're just waiting for this last Phantom. It's going to drop a ton of brutes. We're just going to kill them and end the game. And hopefully I'll get all of these ones. I did, which is good. I'm going to find the Chieftain here. Just shoot him twice with a... fuel rod and it kills him. And I think we have like 2 more guys left that I want to kill really fast. And that's everything. So we didn't lose any time there. And we're just waiting to see our allies spawn in. And it's about 40 seconds from now. So, just want to give a few shout-outs. First off, HaloRuns.com. If you're interested in running speedrunning Halo, go to HaloRuns.com. We do not use Speedrun.com for our leaderboards for a lot of convoluted reasons, which I won't really go into. But if you're interested, HaloRuns.com. Pretty much all the main FPS Halo games are there. If you're interested, coming up right here. And time. So, yeah, go to HaloRuns.com, take a look, leaderboards, HaloRuns Discord, we have all of the, tutorials, everything you could possibly need if you're interested in learning. I'm always, if someone wants to learn ODST, I'm always more than happy to help out. Feel free to contact me in the Discord, but, yeah, that's the run, so thanks for having me. That was actually a really good run. Only 4 seconds behind PB, so, yeah.
Very well done on the run. And everybody stay tuned. We've got plenty more cool runs coming on up. Next up, we're gonna have 3 ninjas kick back. by Manix 86. So yeah, stay tuned for that.